That's right. Mushing the competition. Better than Jawan Howard up in Michigan, baby. Crevonte, I know you see it. It's the Flex
Wow.
Zone, the only place giving you sports how you want it, when
When
you
you
When
need it.
you
need it.
need it.
You gotta throw the Heisman in there, for Michigan purposes. But we're back again for another fresh episode 331. The only place to get it done. We are the Flex Zone. Flexzone1 at gmail.com. Want to be a guest, ideas, part of this experience. Of course, tonight we are continuing that Sports and Blackness series, and we got another special, illustrious guest in the building. We'll get to him in a second as he'll be rocking with us for a good majority of the show. We're back live after a 1 week break. Subscribe to the YouTube, the Flex Zone podcast. We're growing. The Flex Zone One on all social media. Check the ticker down below. If you missed anything I said and you want to donate as well, cash tag the Flex Zone One as well. We appreciate our family back in the building with us here on another Monday night here for Baltimore and beyond. You know my name, host with the Moist, God's favorite host, and we are still America's Moist Wonder. Crevonte, the head of the sports podcast table. But I can't do the show alone. Make sure you throw your ones up. Uncle Raj, what's good, my good brother?
What's going on, Byron? It's good to be back. We had a week off. Valentine's Day was last week, so we didn't have a show. But yeah, good to be back. Have another great guest for you guys. Coming up very soon. We're going to introduce him. Can't wait to hear from him. I haven't seen him in a good while, but it's going to be a great show. Tune in.
Yeah, they was already commenting before he even came on the show, and they heard he was coming in. Got Raiders questions, so much more. The voice of reason. The chain gets bigger as the job gets bigger, baby. He's mushing out the goofiness. We'll get to that later in the show. Some new things for Goofies of the Week we're working on here for the Flex Zone. It's Crevonte, baby.
Yo, what's good? What's good? So were we really off last week? We kind of just switched days,
It,
if
it was,
anything.
yeah. We still gave the
We
people
wasn't
something.
really
Yeah,
off.
we gave him a little content last week.
We gave them something. We gave something. We give the people what they want, what they're looking for, and all that goodness. But Monday nights, I'm ready to go. I'm really excited. Yo, fam, Cuzzo, what up? Happy birthday, boy.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Josiah.
birthday.
Happy birthday, Josiah.
Yeah, I'm ready to go, man. I'm really excited for our guest. Haven't seen him in quite a bit. I can't wait to hear what he got to say about the goofiness that's going on in sports. Let's get to it.
Daryl, there's one remedy to that. March 6th, my birthday. Come on out to Jimmy's. Watch a real pay-per-view, AEW Revolution, my good brother. I'm just letting you know where the party will be if you're looking for some good wrestling. But this next man, he needs no introduction. He is Landry Melton. He is the head of the sports podcast table. Start your day with a cup of Dre each and every day on WEAA. The executive producer here at the Flex Zone. Straw that stirs the drink. More exciting than WrestleMania season, baby.
Oh
Drizzy
my
Dre, what's good, my
God.
brother?
Jesus
Hey, man.
Christ.
As always, I appreciate that wonderful introduction. Better than Paul Heyman. I missed y'all guys last week, but I'm excited for a new episode. So let's get to it.
Hey, Miss Queen wants to see you flex. I know you've been in the gym, my brother. She wants to see a good flex from the Flex Zone Messiah. Shout out to Miss Queen.
Hey, look, compared to our guest, I don't even know if I can flex.
Hey, Daryl, I like that comment, brother. I'll make sure I show you some love on that one. But as I said, we are continuing our sports and blackness series. It gets no better than what we're getting to black excellence in its finest. And I mean, this man is a boss. He came on here smoking a cigar. You know him as a radio host. You know him as a writer for the Afro. You know him as a overall just mogul, especially in the Baltimore area if you're familiar with him. The one, the only Sean Yoes joins us here in the Flex Zone virtual building. Before we bring him on, let's see those clap hand emojis and let's bring him in to the illustrious Flex Zone podcast as he smokes that cigar. There he is, baby. Big smoke.
You bought the blackest dude on you could for Black History Month. Black Adidas sweat, black Adidas track joint like Run DMC.
Oh, you look like you straight out the 80s, man.
Oh, man. Thank you, Mr. Yoes, for appreciate it. I know, but you got the cigar, you get the mister because you're a boss level status on the Flex Zone. You're a VIP, and we appreciate you taking time to be with us, brother.
I just appreciate y'all bringing me through, man. It's past my bedtime, though. I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, man. Y'all got me on 10:30. The late. I wasn't sure what we was going to do at 10:30. I was ready.
That's Sean's gym time.
I'm up early.
Well,
I'm glad I'm here.
Hey, let the people know how to follow you, keep up with you, anything you got going on, how they can tap in with you, my good brother.
Oh man, I've been traveling so much the last few weeks working on because I'm working independently now. I'm not at the Afro anymore. I I have I founded a institute for journalism, the Leslie Maureen Yoes Institute for Journalism, which is training some of the next generation of storytellers. And I've been traveling, doing work on really history. I mean, I just did a story on the history of lynching in the state of Maryland. I was in Brown Grove, Virginia, talking about a historic Black community that's been displaced by industrialization. I'm going to Deal Island this summer to do a film. I did a film over the summer about the highway to nowhere in Baltimore. So it never stops. It never stops. It never stops. It never stops. And I haven't even had a chance to watch that much sports. Of course, I've been paying attention to my Raiders. You know, we were in the news a lot this past season, obviously. I'm not a baseball fan anymore. I hate baseball because the Orioles stink. I was an Orioles fan for 40 some odd years, and I just couldn't take anymore. So, but I still got an opinion about everything. So I'm good to go. Especially that slant that Juwan Howard delivered over the weekend.
You know we're gonna ask you about that because you might have did that with a cigar in your mouth. But Dre,
now that would have been the hype. If he had slapped that dude for a cigar and stuck him in his mouth, that would have been crazy.
Oh man, Dre,
smoke in his face or something.
Hey, say what's up to Sean and go ahead and shoot off with the first question, my good brother.
Hey man, Sean, we appreciate you. You know, me and Crevonte go all the way back with you from the NWA Sports
Report. The notorious. That's right. That's
right. We still gotta have that reunion going on, good brother.
What's gonna happen? Well, we got some new office space, and I'm about to bring back bring into a new podcast. Sean Yoes is live in West Baltimore, and I'm gonna bring back the NWA at least once a month. So get ready. But I need y'all in the studio because we gotta drink and smoke and do everything y'all not allowed to do. You know, I'm a renegade, man. I don't care what you do as long as you bring the heat. You know what I mean?
I love it.
You know, the open invitation, but you got to be ready.
We'll be ready, man. We'll be ready for it.
Sure.
The first question, I mean, let's get right to it. What were your thoughts about the brawl that happened between Michigan and Wisconsin this past weekend?
Well, you know, in a very real sense, you know, that dude put his hands on Juwan Howard.
Hmm.
Now, should Juwan smacked him in the face? He probably shouldn't have. I mean, you have to, in that context, you're the head coach of Michigan, the University of Michigan basketball team, of a storied program. He probably should have shown a little bit more restraint, but in the law of the street means if a man puts his hands on you, I mean, you're bound to retaliate or at least defend yourself. And it seemed like Juwan was trying to move on. He didn't like what the dude did in calling that timeout at the end of the game, and the cat felt compelled to be all up in his chest and everything. So I understand why he responded. I don't know. I mean, I don't understand why people feel that they have the right to put their hands on you, especially another man. You know, it's that. So I think it probably was an overreaction on Juwan's part, but I understand the reaction. What I was thinking about the fact that it was the University of Michigan. I immediately went back to the Malice in the Palace when all them dudes started throwing down. The fans they went up into the stands and started beating people up and all that stuff. It was Meta World Peace, formerly known as Ron Artest. So I thought about all that stuff, and Juwan has been really, him and the rest of the Fab Five have been iconic figures in professional sports for so long. It's just interesting to see all of that stuff from a historical context, you know, because I followed this kid from the time he was at University of Michigan all the way through the pros, and now him as the coach and rather the head coach at the University of Michigan. It's unfortunate that it got to that, but you know, I think if anything, everybody involved probably should be. It shouldn't. The suspension, the punishment shouldn't just fall on Juwan Howard.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. So, you know,
You know, it's funny that you actually made that comparison about the Malice in the Palace because Michigan State coach Tom Izzo actually said it was a similar incident when asked his thoughts about it.
Well, it was similar, but if you remember the Malice in the Palace, that was you talk about WrestleMania.
Yeah,
that was
That was
very
a brawl,
reminiscent
yeah.
of a steel cage match. I mean, that thing lasted for minutes. They went into the stands, fighting fans, throwing. I mean, it was literally a brawl. And I doubt if we would see something like that today, but I guess that what we saw over the weekend was probably as close as you can get to what happened back then, because sports is so regulated and so sanitized to a great extent now that the ability for players, coaches to get wild like that, it's the sports culture just doesn't quite. I don't think it allows it anymore. It's yeah, but it was as close as you can get, I guess, to the Mouse in the Palace.
Go ahead, Crevonte.
Well, okay.
Well, speaking of Malice of the Palace, were you able to check out the Netflix special?
Which one?
The one where Jermaine O'Neal, Ron Artest, and all of them had their individual accounts of what happened. And they
no, I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well,
Man.
what? I mean, I remember it.
For sure.
I remember.
So they basically took a deeper look into what happened and basically what happened leading up to what happened, what was the final straw, and then after everything broke loose, even during everything. Jermaine O'Neal spoke, Steven Jackson spoke, of course, Ron Artest, Metta World Peace, or whatever y'all want to call him. He spoke, and even a couple of the fans that they hit spoke as well. And they're, them trying to get lawsuits and all that. Like we really saw the behind the scenes of it. So please, if you get a chance, check it out.
The funny thing was one of the white cats, he had taken advantage of the fact that Artest was kind of down in a prone position, and he starts pounding on him. He half drunk, I'm sure, pounding on him, and then when Artest starts to retaliate, then he's like, "Oh, he didn't bargain for all that, But what a crazy situation. I mean, I remember this is how far. Now I didn't experience this. Okay, I was a small kid when this happened, but I remember back in the 1960s. Y'all talk about WrestleMania. There was a wrestler named his stage name was Crusher, and he got into a brawl in downtown Detroit with Alex Karras. Do y'all know the name Alex Karras? Alex Karras was a defensive end for the Detroit Lions. He would be in the Hall of Fame, but he got busted for betting on games. He was a great defensive end, a great defensive player. He got busted for betting on games. And him and this cat named Crusher, his name was Crusher Ladowski, is his last name. They fought in downtown Michigan for hours. Like, I'm not exaggerating. For hours, they were roaming through the streets of downtown Michigan. They couldn't break them up. The police couldn't. It was like literally dozens of police trying to break these two characters up. And they
meet me in the alley. Go round back.
They brawled through the streets of downtown Michigan for hours. And so that was wrestling. That was wrestling in pro football. Society was we lived, it was a different world back then. Could you imagine now two big ass dudes rumbling through the streets of downtown Baltimore or some city for hours at a time?
Be a sight to see, that's for sure.
It's impossible. But that was the world that we lived in then, and that was what I was alluding to as far as how sanitized things are. It's hard for people to just let their emotions and their energy go wild now, because we live in such a politically correct kind of time and era. But it was a different world back then. It was a different world back then.
Well, I got a question for you. And since we're on the subject of basketball, I mean, we had the NBA All-Star Weekend pretty much yesterday. And my goodness, man, I'm not sure if you saw the dunk contest on Saturday. That was probably one of the worst dunk contests that I've
Really?
in my
I didn't
entire
see it.
life. It was it.
You didn't miss
Sean,
anything.
Don't watch
They changed
highlights.
but they changed the rules, didn't they? Haven't they changed the rules?
It don't even matter if they changed the rules. That thing, everybody was missing dunks out there. Like all of them were missing dunks. It was awful. It was terrible. It was one of the worst dunk contests in NBA history. But I'm not. But I will say this: when they had the 75 greatest players come out and they introduced them yesterday, it was probably one of the most heartwarming things I've ever seen. The way they did it, the way they presented everybody. You had the moments of Kobe and Michael Jordan coming in. It was great, man. But
I saw him in Magic. I saw Jordan and Magic embracing.
Yeah, Jordan and Magic. Yeah, Jordan was at I think Daytona 500, and he came at the last minute, and he was the last one introduced. It was great. But my question is this: did you see the All-Star game yesterday? And what are your thoughts?
I didn't see it. I did hear a little bit about it. I've been literally on deadlines for the past couple of days back to back, so I couldn't watch much of anything. And it's gonna be like that for a while. But I did see the clip of Magic and Jordan embrace, and it just took me back to those. I mean, for people who don't know, Irvin was my favorite player of all time.
Okay.
I watched him when he dropped 44 against it was the Sixers when Kareem went down and he had to run at center. I mean, I make this claim all the time. I've said it to Dre, I'm sure, and Crevonte before. You can pick any five you want, right? From any era. You give me Magic, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win that because you pick whoever you want. I'm gonna pick whoever. But if you give me Magic, I'll put four together with Magic. That's gonna beat your five. That's my personal belief. That's how unbelievable that cat was. I mean, the closest thing we have to him now, maybe LeBron, I guess. But for him to run as a rookie at center in the championship and drop 44. That was a definitive moment in sports and basketball history, in my opinion, and it just showed just how great the cat was. I mean, if he hadn't got his career cut short because of the HIV thing, I mean, who knows what he would have ultimately achieved stat wise? But what a great athlete, great player. Period. Not just basketball player, but just great sportsman. And a great man, really.
I'm glad you spoke about LeBron. He had a comment yesterday about his son, Bronny James.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Okay, saying that his last year will be played with him. Now, I'm not sure how that's going to happen. I'm not sure Bronny's going to be, be in the NBA in the next 2 years. But what are your thoughts on that? I mean, LeBron James is just dictating where he's going to go at.
He dictated everything else. He dictates everything.
Right. I said, why not?
He's a filmmaker. He's an iconic figure. He's dictated every team he's ever played. I mean, he's gotten on every team he's wanted to play on. He willed himself to the championship. He willed himself to the Lakers. He probably could go back to Cleveland at some point if he wanted to, maybe. I think the cat could do. I mean, if Ken Griffey can do it, Ken Griffey played with his son, Ken Griffey Jr. If he seems to be physically sound enough right now to keep going for some more time, right? Is he? Is he okay?
No. Yeah,
he's still
fit people in the NBA.
Yeah. So if his son gets into the league, I'm sure he can pull some strings and get and be a part of whatever team he's drafted by. So I wouldn't doubt it. I would bet money that he can pull it off if his son makes it.
He's averaging 29 at the age of 37. So still doing pretty well.
Yeah, he's all right.
I think second in the league in scoring, I believe. And they're actually doing a documentary, Sean, on the Showtime Lakers coming in March to HBO Max. So
Oh, cool.
something to keep an eye on. I think you'll like, and I'm looking forward to as well.
Man, I was in LA when Showtime was happening. So it
Okay.
was, and let me tell you a story about that real quick. So
Okay.
Oh boy.
the first championship that Magic won, we had the parade in LA, and they were bringing out all the the Lakers, Coop and Norm Nixon and all the cats, and they bought out Kareem, and I'm like, wait a minute, I had assumed that Kareem would have been the last cat they bought out to speak to the crowd. Nah, it was Irvin. It was Irvin, and I said to my man Pierre, my buddy Pierre, who he had been living out in LA, and me and him and my buddy Ronnie, we all lived together in West LA. And I looked at Pierre. I said, how the hell? I said, why isn't Kareem the last cat to speak? He said, yo, Magic owns LA. Magic runs Los Angeles. And I was like, damn. And it was clear then that this was a special dude, man. This was a special dude, because I had assumed that Cap was going to be the last cat to speak to the people, but it was Magic, and his influence on Los Angeles sports, and sports period, and then how he's evolved into a businessman and everything else. But he's one of the great sportsmen of the 20th century, really. In all, he's there with iconic figures like Ali and Jim Brown, and I mean, he was a special athlete.
Yoes, let me ask you then, when people make a Mount Rushmore of basketball players, how come Magic Johnson is overlooked a lot of the time?
Overlooked?
Yeah, because sometimes people put, like, of course, Jordan, LeBron up there. They may put Russell or Wilt, but sometimes it seems like they'll leave Magic Johnson maybe out of that.
You know what, Dre? The interesting thing is, I feel like Kareem gets overlooked more than Magic does.
Yeah, Greg
I
gets
think both
way
of them get
overlooked more than Magic.
Yeah, I think anybody that overlooks Magic Johnson is not cogent. I'll use that word. They're not clear on the league. They're not clear on his impact on the league. I mean, the only thing I could see is that they may have some sort of bias because of how his career got cut short. But that's ignorance, because if you look at what he achieved, I mean, he didn't invent the triple double. Elgin Baylor Oscar Robertson was really the person who brought the triple double into prominence as a stat. But Magic, man, how many cats on almost a daily basis score a triple double? He did it almost every game. He scored a triple double. That's unheard of, right? I mean, who else does that on a regular? Who does it on a daily? LeBron does it, I guess. I mean,
no, not even LeBron.
But on a daily basis, every game, that's impossible. But Magic did it.
Westbrook was doing it.
Yeah, but I mean that was stat pack.
Not the same impact, though. Not the same impact at all.
No. Westbrook will not be on the Mount Rushmore.
He might not even be in the Hollywood Hills after the next couple of months.
I was gonna say, man, you know how LA get down. LA, you gotta bring the stars. You gotta be ready to play. That Hollywood lights is big, and it's not for everybody.
No, it's not. And think about how Magic flourished under that. I mean, he owned it. He ate it. He soaked it all in. He didn't run from it at all. He was it. He was Showtime. So again,
But
just an extraordinary cat.
I think it was perfect for Magic and Bird for where they came from in college to where they went in the pros. I felt like both was absolutely perfect, and it was only right that for just about the entire 80s, it was them two.
I mean, you couldn't have written a script better than that. I mean, you have these two polar opposite kind of individuals as far as personalities is concerned. Larry Bird from French Lick, Indiana, barely, you don't even remember him talking for a long time, but everybody knew that he could talk trash on the court with anybody, like, in kind of this quiet, insidious way. But to have these two polar opposites coming out of college and in Indiana State, right?
Mm-hmm.
Michigan
Yeah,
State,
that's where Larry
Michigan
Bird.
State,
Yeah, that's
Indiana.
where
Indiana
Michigan State,
State for
Indiana State.
Bird and Michigan State for Magic, and have that epic final showdown, and then to go into the pros, the Celtics and the Lakers for all those years, and for them to be such great friends to this day. I mean, I heard a report that when it was announced that Magic had HIV, Larry Bird just broke down and cried like a baby because he loved the dude, because they made each other really to a great extent. You couldn't really have Magic to the extent that you had him without Larry Bird. You certainly couldn't have had Larry Bird without Magic. They fed off of each other. And then, of course, Jordan came along and took it in a different direction. But yeah.
Well, Sean, were you able to catch the HBCU Classic this weekend between Morgan and Howard?
I heard about it. I told you, man. I've been really. I mean, seriously. I had 2,500 word stories that I had to work on. So my head was in that. And I'm, like I said, I'm planning a whole lot of other stuff. So I haven't been watching a whole lot of sports. I watched my Raiders.
And I'm glad you asked about him because we gotta get to it.
I'm sure y'all got it for me.
We gotta say the juiciness. Gotta get the people in here now. You talked about big lights, big city. There was a lot going on with your Las Vegas Raiders this year. It's so much to talk about that we want to give you the floor, from Chucky getting fired, the Henry Ruggs situation, them making the playoffs, bringing in Josh McDaniels. He didn't leave him at the altar this time. He actually said, "I do." Bringing in the Patriots guys to be your GM. What do you think is the state of the Las Vegas Raiders from GM Sean Yoes? Because Mike Mayock, his ass is gone.
Well, I mean, you know what I really think?
There you go.
I think if they had grabbed old dirty bastard Odell Beckham, ODB, if they had grabbed him instead of Deshaun Jackson, what would have happened? If Odell had played at the level that he played with the Rams, with the Raiders, maybe we get past the Bengals. It came down to the last play of the game.
Sure did.
We gave the Bengals everything they wanted in that game in Cincinnati. The Raiders couldn't travel past the Mississippi and win a game at one time. They were the worst traveling team in the NFL. They couldn't handle adversity. They couldn't travel. I mean, they couldn't win on the road. Now this is a team that dealt with the adversity of John Gruden being forced out of the league because of these racist comments that he made in these emails. He's forced out of the league. They keep winning. Henry Ruggs kills somebody driving 150 some odd miles an hour. They go through this slump, then they come back at the end of the year and win 4 in a row, and they go to Cincinnati and almost beat the Bengals that wound up in the Super Bowl. What happens if we have Odell Beckham Jr.? Maybe we win that game. Maybe we get through. I don't know. I mean, what I'm saying in essence is that they were a remarkably resilient team. They fought through. They dealt with more adversity than any NFL team in the history of the NFL. Name another team that dealt with what they dealt with. You can't find it. To deal with their coach being thrown out of the league and then having their star player who was taking the tops off of defenses and opening up the offense, having him, he's out, he's done, and they still persevered and got to the playoffs, which they hadn't done in so long. So I'm optimistic. I think most people in Raider Nation hated the Josh McDaniels hiring because he's the embodiment of the Patriots, and we hate the Patriots because we never got over the tuck game, right? Okay, so you hire Josh McDaniels. He seems like he's the antithesis of the Raiders, but the reality is Josh McDaniels. You say whatever you want to say about him, what he did in Indianapolis, and how he was terrible as a Denver coach, but he knows football and he knows offense, and I think he's going to be able to take the Raiders to another level offensively. I think the defense is going to be okay. So I'm kind of optimistic, and to his credit, when they brought him on for the press conference, he was very candid. He said, "Look, when I when he went to Denver, he said he knew football, but he didn't know people." And he said the thing that happened with the Colts was a huge mistake. He said, "I failed." He said the words, "I failed," but he claims he's learned a lot since then. I hope he's right. I hope. The only question I have of Josh McDaniels is, can he lead men?
There we go. There it is.
Can he lead men? And the Raiders, that's a special breed of men. Always has been throughout the history of their franchise. That's the wildest franchise in the history of the NFL. Can he lead them? Can he lead them? I don't know. I mean, but at the same time, we already have outstanding leaders on the Raiders team. We have Max Crosby, we have Ngakoue, we have Carr, we have Josh Jacobs. We have guys that are leaders on that team, and they've shown that they don't give a damn who's the coach. They've shown they don't care what happens. They're going to go out and they're going to play football as hard as they possibly can, and that's what they did last year. So I'm proud of them. Hope Josh can get out of the way and let them be who they are. And we need some draft picks. We need a right tackle. We need a right tackle. We need a defensive interior lineman. But I think we're going to be okay. As long as he doesn't implode as a coach, I think we'll be okay. I hope we'll be okay.
Sean, you talk about the head coach, but one of the other important positions in a football team is the quarterback.
Yes, sir.
And I know you've been Derek Carr, pushing for Derek Carr. Is he a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League right now?
Is he a top 10 quarterback? I don't know.
Come on, Sean. He is.
I think he is. I think Derek. Hey, look, man. He has more fourth quarter victories during his time than just about any quarterback in the league. There's something he has ice in his veins in the fourth quarter when the game is on the line. He can deliver. It's just those times when he has these inexcusable fumbles and he throws these crazy interceptions and he looks like he's losing his mind. It's like he has these spasms of lunacy, during games. But when the money's on the line, I mean, he has said to his teammates, he's like, "Look, you give me the ball back, we're going to win this game." And he goes out and he does it. So, I mean, he's money when it counts, lots of times. He has elite arm talent. I mean, he has incredible touch. He's just, his head like a Bayside, is straight. He's an interesting cat, man. But is he top 10? Yeah, he's top 10. He's top 10.
Okay. You know what? I give you that. I think he's top 10 because to deal with the stuff that he dealt with this year, and just in general with the Raiders, he's always been a really good quarterback. He's always showed up and always, put them in positions to win. But it'd be something here or there that that they just don't win. But Derek Carr, to me, he is our top 10 quarterback. I would love to have him on the Ravens if we didn't have Lamar.
Right.
And I think, I think next year we'll definitely see him being even more better than what he was this year.
He's my
Engraven.
my-
Engraven's on this thing.
What's going on in Graven, man?
Engraven.
Big shout out
Appreciate
Engraven.
you, man.
Appreciate you, brother.
like a
Definitely
Bayside. That's right. Look, if he stays healthy, and if McDaniel's offense is what I think it's going to be, he could throw for 5,000 next year. He threw for 4,800 this year. If we get Devontae, the cat from the Packers, Devontae Adams, good God from Zion. If we get him, if Carr stays healthy, if that offense clicks, he's going to throw for 5 Gs, man. He's going to throw for 5 Gs. We just need a right tackle. We need a right tackle.
Hey, Sean, I got a stat for you real quick. We love numbers on this show. Wanted to give you a stat and all those listening. Out of every quarterback who's ever played in the history of the National Football League, Derek Carr has 24 fourth quarter comebacks. Only 2 behind Joe Montana, 3 behind Eli Manning, 4 behind Brett Favre. Technically, right now he's tied for 18th, but I mean he does his best work in the fourth quarter. And I said this on Homeboy. Hunter Renfrow reminds me of Cooper Kupp light. He plays just like him.
Yeah, he plays like him, just little or more fragile. He's not as durable. But I mean, he runs the freakiest patterns in the league. I mean, he gets open, and he's very unique in his pattern running. But he gets open, he catches everything, and he's got ice water in his veins too, man. If you get it to him, he's gonna catch the rock. He's gonna catch the rock. He returns punts. So I love him, man. It's the tragedy of Henry Ruggs, man, is so profound.
My
That kid could have. I mean, he literally, nobody's gonna catch him. Nobody. And he could get the ball. He had crazy hops. He had hands. And again, the speed is just unimaginable. And what he did because of his speed opening up the offense gave Darren Waller so much love and even Renfro so much love. I mean, we were on our way, man. And then that thing happened. It's like you see that happen. Then you see a kid like our cornerback that we had.
Damon Arnett?
No, not Arnett, that clown. I'm glad he's out. The other kid that we got, I mean, baller. I mean, a straight dog. The kid, he got busted for DUI, and then a week or two later, he gets busted driving 121 miles an hour. It's like, bro, what are you thinking about? You literally just experienced what happened to Henry Ruggs, and you out clowning like that?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. The cat's name is slipping my mind. He played at a very high level. He could have been all on the all rookie team. What's his name? Hobbs.
Oh
Yeah, Hobbs, right?
Okay.
Yeah, the corner. I mean, he's dope. I mean, he can play. I mean, he'll stick his head and he can tackle.
Nate Hobbs. That's his name.
He can tackle, but for him to get popped for DUI and then 2 weeks later get popped for driving 121 miles an hour, it's like, what the? Can I cuss?
Go ahead,
man.
Go for
Sure?
it.
Yes.
All right. What the fuck was he thinking? What was he thinking? How do you not show up for your team like that? How do you, after all that they had been through, after all he had personally witnessed, how do you make a mistake like that? I can't understand that. As excellent as talented as he is, I just don't understand the mentality. When you play in a team sport, especially football, and especially on that team, everybody's got to step up. Everybody's got to man up on that team. And he didn't man up in his personal life. And that's very disappointing to me,
I got a question. Since they moved to Las Vegas, do you think that they might need like some type of a training or anything? Because I know they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but this year alone, their first season has not really been looking good for them.
Well, I mean, the league bends over backwards for these guys, man. I mean, they have driver services, they have instruction, and the Raiders, I know specifically, spoke very plainly. And all he had to do was make a phone call. All he had to do is make a phone call. Ruggs, Hobbs, All they had to do was make a phone call, and there would have been somebody there to pick them up and drive them wherever the hell they had to go. But these guys, they're young. They're millionaires. They're 20 some odd years old, and they're millionaires, and they think they're invincible. Why are you driving 155 miles an hour through the streets of Las Vegas, Henry Ruggs? Why? His girl's in the car. His girl was in the car.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she's screaming at him, slow down. He's drunk, and he didn't, and he killed somebody. And he has to live with that shit for the rest of his life.
My gosh, man.
So
yeah, man, that's a rough one, man. And that was one of my goofies of the week because, man, just one bad decision. He threw his life away. He had it all. He literally had it all.
Henry Ruggs would have been an all-pro. If he stays healthy, who knows? Maybe he's putting on the gold jacket at the end of his career. Who knows?
Maybe.
But he ain't putting on nothing except that orange jumpsuit if he goes in the thing.
Terrible.
I mean, it's horrible. And he's, from all accounts, he's a quote unquote good kid. But he made a horrific mistake. And now he's going to be dealing with that for the rest of his life. And he probably won't play another snap in the NFL.
So the interesting thing is, after digging a little deeper, that's what he liked to do. Like he drove cars really, really fast. Like he was fast on the streets and on the football field.
Yeah. Apparently so. He had a tricked out Corvette.
Yep, that was his thing. That was his thing. That was his get down.
I didn't know that, but apparently so. But I don't care what your thing is. Driving 155 in the streets of a city, especially Las Vegas, that's borderline insanity, right?
Yeah.
155 is fast. I had a Corvette. I got it up to 120, and that was on the highway, and I wasn't drunk.
Word. Yeah, and so the reports was that he got down to 120 once he slammed into the victim. But back to Derek Carr really quickly. I think how they say quote unquote marriage between Derek Carr and Josh McDaniels will be good, and I think it'll be beneficial if Josh McDaniels learned from his stint in Denver. Derek Carr, what he's been able to overcome this year, I feel like you have to be optimistic about going forward with an offensive mind like Josh McDaniels. I just hope that he hires a damn good defensive coordinator and he's ready to actually lead, because how he went into Denver and how he left was not a good look.
Horrible. But the defense, we got the cat from the Giants as our DC now. Very respected guy. His name is slipping my mind right now, but very respected defensive coordinator. And the Giants defense was pretty solid. They had a bad team, but their defense was kind of rough.
And now they got Wink Martindale as a coordinator.
Who?
The Giants.
Oh, okay. Well, because he's replacing the cat that came to us. Blake, I think is his last name. Maybe, can't remember. But he's supposed to be a very well-respected defensive coordinator. He has some pieces to work with. We got Max, we got Ngakoue, we got Perryman, we got Devon Diablo is going to be a baller, man. Or he's kind of like when I played, we called it a rover or a monster man linebacker, but he kind of plays all over the field. I want them when that punk Travis Kelce comes and the Kansas comes. I want them to put Diablo on his ass. That's what I really want. Because you talking about, look, I hate a lot. I don't hate a lot of teams, but I hate a few teams. But there's no team I hate more than the Kansas City Chiefs. Jesus Christ. I mean, they are the most arrogant. And I mean,
You sound like another part of our staff here.
Bro.
Above you.
Bro. it's they're horrible. I hate the Chiefs, man. I loved the fact that the Bengals beat them and broke Patrick Mahomes up. And I mean, he looked so ridiculous in the second half of that game. He what happened to him? They were up by 21, right?
Yeah, they were up by 20.
that grave mistake before halftime
Yes.
was a shift. They never got right after that. Never.
And I hope Mahomes is never right again.
You and me both. You and me
Never
both.
again. Never again. I can't stand that boy, yo.
All right, Sean. I wanted to ask you, since you guys, we talked about you guys going to Vegas and having one of the newer stadiums in the league. There was that 30 for 30 about Al Davis wanting a stadium of that architect, and to actually have it. How does that feel after all these years? Al Davis not being able to see his vision, but for it to be coming to fruition. How do you feel
Well,
about the new stadium?
if you remember, Mr. Davis, like he's one of the architects of the NFL. I mean, he's one of the founding fathers of the NFL. The Raiders were an AFL team, and to a great extent, it was the success of the teams like the Raiders and the Jets and the Chiefs that forced the NFL to bring the AFL in, because they knew that they couldn't really compete with them, so they had to merge. And Davis was a main a focal point of the merger and of the building of the AFL, and then henceforth the league. I mean, what people don't talk about as far. First of all, to answer your question, it's an architectural wonder. It's a beautiful stadium, and it may be the best in the league. I don't know. It's one of the best in the league, up there with SoFi, I guess, and even Ravens Stadium to some extent. But so to have his vision fulfilled is great. But you have to also remember about Al Davis. Al Davis hired the first Hispanic coach in the NFL, the first black head coach in the modern era of the NFL, the first female executive in NFL history, Amy Trask. So he was always a pioneer. He was always a trailblazer and a visionary. He moved the team out of Oakland because he couldn't get the deal that he wanted for a new stadium. They're still tripping over the stadium to this day, and they're about to lose the A's.
They can come to Vegas too, Sean. Bring them to Vegas. Bring them to Vegas too. They can be the Vegas
That's what
Athletic.
they're trying to do. They're trying to move the A's
cool
to
with that.
Vegas.
Even though it's no baseball right now.
So they've been tripping over the stadium issue for decades in Oakland. And he moved them out, took them to LA, only team in LA history to win 2 Super Bowls, the only LA team to win 2 Super Bowls. I mean, he did it all, man. I mean, he was great for the league. He was a great pioneer. He was a visionary, and to see what they've done with the building of Allegiant Stadium is just the kind of manifestation of his final vision. Unfortunately, his son has that terrible haircut,
he looked like
a red-headed mole from the.
He looked like Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber. That's like.
Oh, he does look like that guy, the Jim Carrey character.
Al Davis, one of the greatest owners in all the sports, up there with George Steinbrenner and some other people up there, of course. Yep. What are your thoughts about the Raiders since the passing of Al Davis?
I mean, he has to be. I hope he's smiling, because the team that they had last year was a throwback to the old Raiders that they won no matter what. I mean, the old Raiders won games. I mean, there's too many games to talk about. The Holy Roller game, See a Hands game, Immaculate Reception, which unfortunately didn't go our way, Tough Rule, all these epic games, the Heidi game. I mean, they won games in such a miraculous fashion that it almost seemed like John Madden's. I saw the part of the special about John Madden just before he died, and his wife literally said she thought that they should win every game. She's like, she said there was no reason for them not to win every game. That's how good they were. And they were that good. I mean, so I hope that Mr. Davis is happy with the resiliency of this team now, because we went a long time, man, with some horrible teams. Horrible teams. I mean, pathetic teams. I mean,
Marcus Russell, anybody?
Jesus, man.
Ooh.
I mean, we drafted him number 1.
You did.
We drafted him number 1.
Overall, man.
Just, we've gone through some hard times, but Mr. Davis used to say the greatness of the Raiders is still ahead of them, and I hope that we can get a couple of chips out of old Josh McDaniels. I don't know. We'll see. When we gonna talk about wrestling? Because you guys talk about WrestleMania, I'm gonna throw some names at y'all that you're not ready for my wrestling game, man. Because I'm a Hall of Famer when it comes to y'all not ready for that.
We'll throw some wrestling in there before we let you depart, man. Trust me, we got you.
All right.
Crevonte, you want to ask him about your team?
Yeah.
Nick Donlin has DH right. Darius Haywood Bay. We took Darius Haywood Bay over Michael Crabtree in that draft. Darius Haywood Bay. I can catch better than Darius Haywood Bay.
Hey, Sean, we love Al Davis, but he loves those brothers that can fly. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's all it was. Speed.
Michael
Mitchell.
He went to Maryland.
Yep.
But so did Stephon Diggs. I'm just saying, and DJ Moore. But Crevonte, you gotta ask him about your team. But I gotta hear what he gotta say about your team.
Hey,
please.
Yo,
I'm trying to remember.
Well, they changed their names a few times.
Oh yeah.
They changed their names a few times.
Hurd is a Commanders fan.
Oh, Sean, you must address him. He has a new name. It is Commander Crevonte, and give him a salute.
Commander.
If you're in the chat, drop those Commander Crevonte emoji.
Commander Crevonte.
That's right. Give him a salute, baby.
I absolutely hate
it. That will never get old, too. That will never get old.
No.
Nah, it's not aging well at all. But it was so bad. I had to I pulled me and a good friend of ours, Tristan. I had to pull him up on a Wednesday. We did a show on a Wednesday. It was so bad. Matter of fact, the Wednesday after the name changed, like when they announced it, and I just had to get my feelings and emotions and all that stuff out, man. Because I was like, we waited 18 months, and this I waited 18 months. And
what did you think when you heard it? When you heard it, what did you do? When you heard the name, what was your first thought? What did you think?
So it was the morning time. First of all, I didn't think they was going to announce it this early. When I woke up around a couple minutes before 9 o'clock, and I had a notification from the Washington football team media page, and I clicked on it because I was like, "Dang, they might be doing it now." So I'm half asleep and I'm listening, and they say they goddamn Commander. I said, "What the?" All I'm thinking about, you want to know the first thing I thought about? Them. Oh my God, the jokes! Oh, the jokes are coming. I'm like, they don't call us the Commandos and all this stuff. I'm like, yo, I gotta get on the flex zone now. See, look at y'all. This is funny to y'all. Listen, this is my initial thoughts. Them. I'm like, oh, the jokes are coming. The jokes are on the way. And the jokes are not gonna stop, especially if we continue to be trash.
Yeah.
They should have named them the Washington Generals. The old bring back the old Washington Generals. I mean, at least it would have, people would, I don't know. When you think Commanders, you think Generals. So it was almost like they said, well, we can't name them the Generals. Let's name them the Commanders. Why don't they name them the Admirals? The Washington Admirals. The Washington Captains.
I don't know if he's being serious or if he's just toying with me.
And Sean, we
know.
actually did a segment about what they should name them, and we went through some names like the Red Wolves, the Red Tails, and clearly they picked none of them.
The Red Tails would have been an homage to the brothers, the Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah.
Now that would have been hit. That would have been hit. Look at that.
Yep.
Look what they could have done. Look what they could have done. They could have honored black people in a city that used to be black.
White Chocolate City, now we call it.
Yeah. White chocolate.
Latte City. Latte City. But I mean, they could have honored those brothers, but they had to be the Commanders.
It's entirely too political for me because we do house the Commander-in-Chief, but it's too much for me. It's entirely latte hit, latte's a hit in the comments. It's entirely too political for me, but from where they came from, the Redskins name, we all know the tragedy that was behind that name, and they went completely generic on me. 18 months. You didn't need 18 months to give me generic. No. That's my thing. I ain't need 18 months for generic.
They could have came up with that in 18 minutes.
I'm saying, bro, I ain't need to go through a year and a half for this.
No.
For all that, I needed some pizzazz. I needed something to get excited about. And I'm like, it's a big letdown. And that started my morning. So I'm thinking, I'm just like, the jokes are coming. The jokes are coming. The jokes are coming. Like, I'm thinking of jokes that I would say to me in my head. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I know they're going to kill me. They're going to kill me once And late on that night, me and my man Tristan got on. It was just me and him because I was like, y'all not allowed. You leave it to us to mourn and pour out our emotions. Y'all are not allowed, but they was in them damn comments, and you can imagine.
Hey, Crevonte, what would you rather have though? I just went to Cleveland for the HBCU Classic this past weekend. So, would you rather be the Galaxies or the Commanders?
Give me an animal, Jesus! Give me a mascot.
This renaming of organizations just isn't going well.
Terrible. It's terrible. But at this point now, I'm over it. Well, I'm not over it because they're not going to let me forget it. But I need a quarterback. That's what I need. I need a quarterback, and I don't think I'm going to get one in this draft. So I'm hoping they swing big for one of these vets.
Who do you think they can? There was talk that they were going to try to trade for Derek Carr.
That was rumored. That was rumored, but not much has come of it. No. I like Russell Wilson personally. I think Russell Wilson will be good, but I don't know what the asking price is for him because we all know what Deshaun Watson's asking price is. They talking about 3 1s and a starter. So
3 1s,
3 1s.
Wow.
3 1s and a defensive starter.
For a cat who has like 21 rape charges on him or whatever.
And that's why nothing's happened yet. That's why nothing, like, he's not gonna get moved until that's settled. And then after that, the NFL is probably gonna suspend him. But that's neither here nor there. So I really don't want that problem. Because being a Washington fan my whole life, I've been through enough circuses. You know what I'm saying? I've been through enough turmoil. Bringing down Deshaun Watson would go totally against the new direction we're trying to go in.
Yeah.
So I would do without Deshaun Watson. I would like Russell Wilson personally.
That would be a great pickup.
Oh yeah.
That'd be a great pickup.
Oh yeah. And also, Aaron Rodgers is out of range. I don't know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers, but
he's tripping.
Yeah, he's definitely wild. But the draft is looking a little shaky on the quarterback side of the game. So
what's your number pick? What's your pick on the first round?
11.
11. Well, they got 3 or 4 dope at least 3 good quarterbacks in the, probably in the first round, right?
Yeah, this is a little
okay, so let me paint it like this. If any of these guys that's coming out this year that plays quarterback was in last year's draft, they'd probably be number 6. And 5 guys went in the first round, and pretty much out of the 5, 4 played. And I don't think they would have ranked nicely compared to the guys that went out last year. So they're about average. Not many first round grades, but people are going to reach for quarterbacks, so it's probably going to be at least 2 of them going to top 10, and probably 4 total. But I think they're all projects, so I much rather use my draft pick to trade and get a vet like Russell Wilson.
That makes sense. A lot of great receivers coming out this year, though.
Yes.
I want that kid Braylon Burks from Arkansas.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna fall to 20. We're 22, I think. Well, he's not gonna fall that far, I don't think. But we still got a couple of guys. The cat also from USC, Drake. Is it Drake London?
Yes.
Man, love him. Love him.
Couple of cats from Alabama. So we got some guys, some receivers. So hopefully we can pick up one of those also.
Well, Sean, you stay tuned for Crevonte and Byron's breakdown of the, who's going to be probably the top 20, 30 picks of the first round.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah, they definitely
draft day is like a national holiday for me. I mean, I'm always somewhere watching it. I mean, I got draft headquarters in my crib. I'm set up. And every year we get used. I mean, we've had some decent. I mean, we picked up Carr and Khalil Mack in one draft. Got Carr in the second round. Khalil Mack was our first pick. We got Ruggs, we got Jacobs, but man, we've got we got that bum David Arnett. I mean, he wouldn't. I mean, that guy. He can pick up a gun, but he can't hit nobody. He can pick up a gun.
He said, "I can hit somebody, all right."
Yeah. He likes guns, though.
No, that again. Now that's his get down. That's his thing.
Who's the cat who played for Cleveland? Who was he was banging? I shouldn't say it like that, but he was having intimacies with LeBron's mother.
Oh, Daniel Gibson? No,
West.
not Daniel Gibson.
Delonte West.
Delonte West.
Riding through DC on a moped with strapped on his back. What was wrong with that boy? He had some mental problems.
Yeah, he had some issues.
Yeah.
He still got issues.
Yeah.
But
But I'm looking forward to the draft. Hopefully we make a decision because we're gonna need that first round draft pick for trade value. So
and it's in Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to go out there.
And the Super Bowl in 2 years, Sean, as well in Vegas.
That's right.
I can't.
Hey, Sean, look, man, get your coins now.
Yeah, Dre, I gotta ask you a question, Dre.
What's going on?
Here we go.
You have always represented your fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi. You have a decidedly anti-Kappa look right now. So this beard and the hat and the hair. What? You supposed to be a pretty boy, bro. What's going on? You look like a mountain man today. What's happening? You look like you just came off of the Canadian mountain, out of the Canadian Mounties, out of a log cabin.
Look, man, I'm still a pretty boy, always representing the greatest fraternity known to mankind as Kappa Alpha Psi.
All right,
but trust me, I'll be right this weekend for CIAA. Don't worry.
All right, I was just wondering what was happening, man. I know you always represent the Newts,
Oh yeah. Let me get your thoughts about Colin Kaepernick and Brian Flores. Are there any similarities in their cases? against the NFL.
Well, Flores got a job, so
Yeah, he got the job done.
Yeah, he got a job. I mean, is it? I mean, if you're a head coach in the NFL, I mean, the way I remember when they announced that they fired him, and I immediately thought to myself, I was like, well, what did he do? What happened? I mean, did he have a run-in with management? Because I know that he had turned the Dolphins around. The Dolphins were horrible.
Mm-hmm.
They were a bad team. And he had them winning. They had won 7 in a row at a point during the season. He had a winning record. He had those kids playing for him. And to just fire him the way they did. And then when it came out with the text message between him and Belichick congratulating him, thinking he got the job when they had already given it to the cat from the Giants. Before they'd given it to Dayball. Dayball. They had given it to him already before they even interviewed Flores, and they tried to make it seem like, well, he was in the running to the very end. Bullshit. They had made their pick before they even thought about interviewing Flores, and all they've been doing with the Rooney Rule is just like, trotting guys in for the interview just to fulfill that checking that box. And they weren't giving guys a shot. Brian Flores is a talented coach, man. And for them to dog him the way they did, it just speaks volumes to the old white boy network that has been dominating the NFL since the inception of the league. How can you have a league with 70%, up to 70%, I hear 60 or 70% of the players are black, and never have a black owner? And have, until this recent hiring, one black coach, Mike Tomlin. It's outrageous, And so the comparisons between Flores and Kaepernick, I think there's some comparisons. I think when I think of Flores, I think of Kurt Flood. Kurt Flood changed professional sports. Yeah. With his stand and the advent of free agency. He took a stand and he was martyred because of it, really. But to me, it reminds me more of Kurt Flood, because if he's able to be successful in this lawsuit, it's going to change how coaching is viewed in the NFL forever, probably. And at the end of the day, it's just pure racism. I mean, there's no reason why you can't have black coaches in the NFL. You have guys who have played in the league. You have guys who have coached, come up through the coaching ranks, who are very, brilliant coaches. And for them not to get a shot is just unfathomable to me. And to me, it's stupid, because it's like, if you want to win, you hire a coach who can win, regardless of whether he's black or white or Hispanic or whatever. Win. But when you got a league that is run by the owners, all old white men, you get what you get. You get what you get.
Does the Rooney Rule help us?
You know what? It's interesting you say just win. I legit think half of the NFL owners and like upper management, like the guys who are making the decisions, really don't care about winning. It's all about
profit. Revenue.
And I think about half, and I might be downplaying it by saying half, but I think half the owners and half the teams and organizations just don't care. We're just here because this was a thing to do. Because a lot of these guys are businessmen elsewhere, and this is like another thing for them to do. Like, they're not really into it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well,
I think that's at least half the organizations are like that.
That's a great point. I mean, you juxtapose that to Al Davis, who was a coach for the Raiders, owned the Raiders. I think Al Davis was even a quarterback at some point during his life. He played, but he was a coach for the Raiders, and he wound up buying the team, and he knew football. He cared about football. He hires John Madden, made him the youngest coach in the NFL. you know, he knew football. He cared about football. He loved football. When you think about the Rooney Rule, Mr. Rooney loved football. He you know, it was a different thing. But now you got guys. I mean, I saw the owner of the Rams. I don't know about him. I'm not knocking him, but he seemed like just like you just described, some old billionaire white guy who happened to win the Super Bowl. Like, I mean, it didn't seem like he had much. You know, he didn't seem like a very knowledgeable guy. I mean, Mark Davis, the owner of the Ravens, he'll tell you he doesn't know anything about football, really. I mean, he had his pick. He wanted Gruden because Gruden represented something. He represented the last kind of glory days of the Raiders, and so he wanted the guy because he had all this charisma and stuff. And then what happened, but I think to your point is accurate. I mean, half of these guys, they're just trying to make money. They're billionaires.
So that's what they do for a living.
Yeah.
Do you think the Rooney Rule helps getting black coaches, or is it time for maybe a new rule to be implemented?
Well, if it's applied correctly, I think for the longest time, it was just about checking a box. Because all you had to do was say you interviewed a guy. It didn't mean you had to hire him. You just, as long as you tried 2 guys in, you were covered. So I think that for the longest time, it was just they were going through the motions. But now that they're being sued and they're catching all this heat, they're going to have to change how they do things. So I think applied correctly, it could help. But if you're only checking a box, then no, it doesn't help. And as a matter of fact, it probably hurts because that's what happened to Flores. I agree with Mark Savoy. It was a farce. It was a farce to a great extent.
Well, Sean, again, we appreciate you being in the building with us. Give it up for Sean one more time.
Oh, wait. Before Sean goes, he did say that he wanted us to talk some wrestling.
I don't.
Sean, you ain't missing nothing. Just WWE is terrible right now.
No, right. I don't know anything about wrestling now.
We may get the Rock next year in SoFi. Remember, you heard it here first.
Oh, really?
Remember that. Yes. Remember, you heard it here from the Flex Zone.
Okay.
You heard it here first. He may make an appearance at WrestleMania this year. Just saying.
There's a chance that he could be fighting his cousin, Roman Reigns.
Really?
Yeah.
That would
see, that's money, right? That's money match.
That's money.
And this year we're getting the Undertaker being put in the Hall of Fame, and we also might see the return of Stone Cold Steve Austin in the ring.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, that was the era that I kind of left off in. Stone Cold. I remember when Stone Cold was he came up through Georgia through the NWO, it's WCW at the time. But I go back. I mean, I'm back in NWA days, and that's where that is actually where the name for the NWA Sports Report came from. It was a dual name. It was the old NWA in wrestling, and of course NWA the rap group. Because Dre and Crevonte, do you remember there was a soccer player that came into the studio that I'd interviewed for something, I can't remember, and he saw all y'all come into the studio, and he was like, "God damn, y'all really are the NWA." Because it was about 7 of us in there.
Yeah.
And he literally was like,
"Yep,
wow." But that's how we rolled, like a gang. We rolled like a gang. The NWA.
I remember that like it was yesterday.
The good old days, yeah.
The good old days.
Again, let the people know how to keep up with you and all the great things you're doing, Mr. Yoes.
Man, I'm on Facebook mostly. I'm not on Twitter. I mean, I'm on Twitter, but I'm not that much. I mean, honestly, I'm not saying this to be, cute, but I mean, I've been so busy. I got to get my social media game up because I got a lot of things coming up. I've got another film that's going to be shot this summer. And this LMY Institute for Journalism is something that I'm going to be promoting really heavily. So I've got to get my social media game up, but you can hit me on Facebook and I'll respond. And people know how to get a hold of me. People know how to get a hold of me, but I'm on Facebook a lot. I'm going to get my Instagram game up. I had it going for a while, and then I had an issue with a second account. I got to get that straightened out. But I'm gonna get my Instagram up. I don't think I'm gonna get on TikTok. It's a little too much for me. I don't know. We'll see. But you can hit me on Facebook. Anybody can find me on Facebook, and I'll respond to them. So I just appreciate you guys bringing me on and letting me talk a little bit. And I'll do it again. I'll do it again, especially when it's. Invite me back for the draft.
Okay.
Invite me back for the draft. I'll come back for the draft.
Okay.
All right.
We'll
Commander
definitely-
Crevonte.
Sure.
It's caught on.
Fellas, I appreciate y'all.
One
Hey,
more
thank
time for
you.
Sean
Appreciate
Yoes,
you too.
everybody.
Thank you for coming on,
thank you.
Sean.
I'll see y'all next
Appreciate
time.
Much love. Next time.
All right. Same to you. Much love to y'all.
One more time for Sean Yoes here on the Flex Zone. Big up to him.
Man. My God.
Always a good time when he
My
taps in with us. So shout out to
God,
him
man.
for all he's doing. But, once again, we got to give it up to him. Raj, real quick, let the people know how to keep up with us on social media before we get into Goofies of the Week.
Oh man, if y'all been watching and y'all like what y'all seeing, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Flex Zone Podcast. Plenty of great videos coming. This draft special with Byron and Crevonte is coming as well. Can't wait to see what they do with that. And some other great things coming up as well. A lot of NBA action, of course. What are the Lakers going to do? A lot of just little stuff. But please subscribe to the Flex Zone Podcast on YouTube. We got some great stuff. As you can see, Engraven was commenting,
Yes,
shout out
appreciate
to-
you.
they're definitely in the chat.
My
Mark,
God.
as always, holding
My
us down.
God.
It's just great things coming. So please subscribe and, check us out.
Well, as we get ready to get out of here, we got some new things as we get ready to get goofy with Crevonte's Goofy of the Week. And don't worry, he may just push you right out the way. Crevonte.
All right, guys, trying something new. Again, America, good people. Welcome to Goofies of the Week, sponsored by the Flex Zone. Appreciate you guys for giving me a little bit of time. And let me tell y'all what I thought was goofy this week and post Super Bowl and all that, because I didn't get a chance to do a goofy after the post game for the Super Bowl because it was late and folks were tired. But honestly, Byron, to make this more interesting, or whoever's in control, put up the first one.
Yes, sir. Give me 1 second. I got you, good brother. But let the people know about the cards as well. Let the people know about the cards
All
as
right,
well. Please
boom.
do.
Yeah. All right, guys. We got two colors. We got hey Roger, we keeping Jet Green and Falcon
Yeah,
Goofy.
Jet Green,
Falcon Red.
definitely. Falcon Red.
Jet Green forever. Jet Green forever. Low level Goofy, high level Goofy. Oh boy, we doing this one first. Run it.
You
Play
wanna
the
you wanna work
video,
your way up?
baby.
You wanna work? We starting high, ending low. Which way you wanna do it? I had both cues, so it don't
Wait,
matter. It's up to you.
Wait, I'm sorry. All right, wait, I'm in control of it.
It's up to you. You tell me, and I'll play whatever you want me to play. I just put up that one first because I was just ready to see, white man get pushed. But it's up to you. It's up to you, brother. It's up to you.
Hey man, listen, man.
It's up to you.
Both of these goofies, both of these guys, both of these goofies are top tier. Ain't no Jet Green tonight, baby. So it's gonna be start low and stay low for tonight.
Yeah. While we got the people here, while we got the people,
So,
if you haven't
shoot.
seen the video, let's run the video with sound. Let's go.
Kobe Neath being pulled away by Carter Higginbottom. Adam Smith, graduate assistant for the Wisconsin Badgers, pushing off a couple of players. Yeah, there were some punches thrown in there. As it got nasty there in the end, and everybody being separated, you got to be really careful here. Tyler Wall getting guys away. You got to be careful here.
Oh man. I wish you had the one. I wish you had the one with the CBS music at the end, because that one was.
I'm gonna get that one. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that one.
That was classic. The music playing.
Hey yo!
Stop.
Yo, listen, Dre. I was it Rouse? Was it Rouse that sent it to us?
Yeah.
Bro, so funny, bro. But guys, if y'all those that are tuned in, my good friend and host and brother played not so flattering clip of Juwan Howard almost smushing, open hand smacking the Wisconsin's coach. Apparently, the reports were that Juwan Howard was upset with was it a timeout? It was a timeout that the opposing coach took, and I guess he didn't think it was I guess he didn't think it was right. And Juwan Howard took it to heart. And we all know after the game when they do the I called it the sportsmanship line. When they do that, usually it's the players, and then it's the head coach, and then everybody else. Juwan Howard didn't get in that line. He wasn't in the line. The coach went all the way through the line and went up to Juwan Howard. Now, coach, what's the other coach's name? Wisconsin. Hold up.
I just had his name in my head. I'm working on one thing for you.
It's Coach Goofy. That's his name.
Hey, Raj, and his initials is GG.
Not
His
G.
name is Greg Gard. Greg Gard.
Oh, Greg Gard. Okay.
Yep. So I think that's his name's gonna be Coach Goofy today, because he stepped into Juwan Howard's space, and Juwan Howard, we know him very well from the Fab Five. Dre, I made a joke earlier that the Fab Five, Juwan Howard came out.
Yes, he did.
The Coach Goofy got in his space, and Juwan Howard was like, "Yo, back up out of here." Then we saw the tussle brewing. we saw the tussle brewing, and a whole bunch of people, other coaches came in between the two, and Juwan Howard, having a wingspan of almost 7 feet, tagged them. Like they were together, and then as people came, they kind of, when they kind of separated due to people being in between them, and somehow Juwan Howard still tagged them one time, and I said, "Oh Jesus," because once it only takes for one person to get hit or one punch to be thrown, and then all what could break loose, and I think that's what Tom Izzo was talking about. Even though I still think it was a reach because it will never get to where the Malice at the Palace. It will never. I don't think we'll ever see that again. But it could have gotten worse. It could have got really, really, really worse. Ultra Instinct level Goofy. So okay, cool. Let's break this down a little bit further. Everybody was wrong here. Both parties involved were wrong. But I feel as though if Juwan Howard did not tag your man in the face and he, I don't know if y'all saw it, but real quick, he's like, it hit him and his head bobbled a little bit. I was like, oh, Jesus. Juwan Howard's going to get fined. He's probably going to get fined, suspended, and some more stuff because you have to be able to keep yourself under control. Number one, Juwan Howard, well-known basketball player, alum of Michigan. You got a lot of guys. You got a lot of black kids, young black kids looking up to you, and you not being able to keep your cool in that space is not good for them because after that hit, a couple of players started getting into it, and now things are super out of hand. So, and I like Juwan Howard. I love the hire. I love him as the head coach for Michigan basketball, bringing him back to prominence. What did they do? It was 5 game suspension. That's what it was,
Basically,
right?
it's through the rest of the season. It's through the rest of the regular season.
He's suspended through the rest of the season, and Wisconsin's head coach will not be suspended but will be fined.
See, now, again, obviously this world isn't equal because, I mean, after all, Coach Goofy did come up in his space. Now, Juwan Howard did not have the right reaction, but, you know, we all know they always get the we all know that they always get the second guy, especially when the second act is more
Sending the goofy signal. You got the bad signal. You got the goofy symbol. There you go. There you go. There you go. Click your goofy symbol, Raj. My man.
I love it. I love it. So I'm disappointed in how Juwan Howard chose to handle the situation. Also, he's turning into a thing, because I don't know if y'all remember last year when he got into it with the Maryland basketball coach at the time, and
Mark
at
Turner.
that time it was him trying to take on the whole team, the whole Maryland team, and it was like, yo, why is Juwan Howard at mid court? Like, oh snap, somebody go get him. And like when they brought him back to their side of the court, it's like he was still trying to go, like the guy that was about to fight, that was trying to fight LeBron. That's what they was doing to try to keep him on this side. And I'm like, yo, Juwan, what's up, baby? Like, whatever it was, I'm sure it wasn't that serious. Whatever it was, I'm sure. But now this is another incident where he lost his cool. I don't like where that's heading for Juwan, because I know the third one, they probably gonna let him go. He has to be able to keep his cool, stay cool, calm, and collected, just like I'm sure he wants his players to do. And you know, you're not just teaching these young kids basketball. You're teaching them about life. That was a real life thing that happened, and he did not perform well. Like I said, that was 90s. That was 90s Juwan Howard. That was Fab Five Juwan Howard. That reared his ugly head. But gotta do better, bro. And I understand it because I like Juwan Howard and I want the best for him. And you know, we all grew up watching him. And I obviously want the best for him, but you can't make that mistake. So yeah.
Got it for you, Dre. It's queued up. And Crevonte, before you go to your next one, for my brother Dre, we are heading towards March Madness, the great month of March. Also my birthday month. Stay tuned, America. We got to get the March Madness music. Get your CBS apps ready, because you're going to hear this a lot. And when you hear this song, you'll probably be thinking of this incident. Cue the music.
No, that's too much. That's too funny. CBS music off. Somebody.
Look, they still play the music.
Hey, yo.
Set it for the people.
CBS. Hey, Raj, CBS Sports. CBS Sports for playing that goddamn music while that mess was going on.
Because you know from doing production, man, them boys was ready to go home. They played the music, the credits. They was like, we out. And then they was like, God damn it. Like,
keep the camera rolling. Yes, we know all too well. But anyway, that was that for Juwan Howard and minor CBS for playing that damn music while it was happening. It was almost wrestling like. That was like a wrestling. That almost looked like wrestling a little bit.
Because the guy was like, my gosh.
They have no regard for human life. But
damn shame.
So yeah, so that's one. Byron, do you have the second one queued up?
Found the best picture I could.
And that's not bad. This Got punched by his own teammate. Tall, light skin, yellow. Hey, yo, Sam. Goofy.
That's why you see me doing this, Sam. It's just a goofy alert. Cue your goofy alert. Like they got the Shaq and the Fool. You see something goofy, send a goofy emoji to the Flex Zone podcast, man.
So, guys, this guy is the name of goes by the name of Les Snead. He is the general manager of the Los Angeles, well, now champion, Super Bowl winning GM of the LA Rams. And we all are familiar with what the Rams did to obtain the Super Bowl. They mortgaged a lot of to bring on a lot of talented vets to basically put all their chips, push all their chips to the middle of the table and go all in for the Super Bowl. And they did, and it worked. They did indeed win the Super Bowl. And shout out to them, congrats to them, and that's great for the city of LA. But goddamn it, if y'all take a closer look at this goddamn shirt, it is he actually has some words on it. I don't know if y'all can see it, but it actually says F them picks. And F them picks, the whole word is there, but I'm just saying F them picks. Only a white man could have got away with this. I tell you, it looked like Byron. This is a great picture. It looks like he's in front of the Taj Mahal, and he's looking like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. Yeah, this is a great shirt to wear. Perfect.
Wheeling and dealing.
I wheeling and dealing them picks. I tell you, I don't know when the next time the LA Rams gonna have a first round pick, but it ain't gonna be no time soon. And
around the same time as the Lakers.
Hey man, listen, but that's the LA way. He's doing it. He as in LA, do as the Californians and LA guys do. When in Rome, he's definitely doing that. That he has the LA mindset, and he also has the LA mindset with that shirt. Because he has proven he's the GM, so he's like the actual guy that makes those decisions. He real life said F them picks, and he's portraying it on the shirt. I'm sure that was at the parade. I'm sure that was at the parade, and he wore that shirt proudly, and we all laughed and giggled. This is a very, very funny goofy because it worked. But it's goofy because only he could have gotten away with it. This is not a universal thing. Everybody could not have pulled this off. And only a white man in that at that high of a ranking in an organization could do something like that. We ain't even seen him. We never even seen him in street clothes before. And our first interaction with street clothes is this. I'm like, oh, you wow. This is what you wear and goofy. Monday through Friday, he got a suit on. But they win the Super they win the Super Bowl and have a parade on a random Tuesday, on a non-work Tuesday. He pulled his long sleeve shirt out. When did he get this made, guys? How long has he had this shirt made? Really? How long has he had this shirt made?
He's always had that shirt.
Not always had this shirt.
He came out with the porn. He came out the womb with that shirt on.
Lord, no, he didn't. Lord, he didn't. And then he got the hat backwards. Oh, he acting totally different. This brother's acting totally different.
He looked like White Man Can't Jump. Remember that movie?
He does. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He jumped them damn picks. I'll tell you that damn much. But all in all, he won. Great victory. Your MO worked. Your LA MO worked. Oh gosh, knees weak, arms are heavy. Oh gosh. Not Mount Spaghetti. Oh Jesus. So yeah, let's need guys. The general manager of the Los Angeles Rams. I want y'all to. He is as white collar as it comes, and he has a very derogatory, an explicitive article of clothing. I think it's funny. It's very goofy because looking forward, I don't know how long this run gonna last. I think this is probably 1 year run because he said F them picks. So ain't no new talent coming in anytime soon. But again, high level goofy because he shouldn't be able to do that. He should not be able to do that. That's why it's high level goofy to me because he should not be able to do that. But those are my goofies of the week. Let's need Juwan Howard and of course CBS Sports playing that damn music while they out there fighting. I tell you, just goofy on top of goofy on top of goofy. But y'all know my line. There's a thin line between goofy and great, and everybody, all these brothers, and that CBS crew is on the wrong end of it. Got to do better, guys. Got to do better.
Thank you for that goofy of the week, Crevonte. Always a good time as we get ready for the goofies. But Dre, episode 332 in 1 week. What can they expect?
So we're going to conclude our Sports and Blackness series next week with a good friend of the show, one of our big brothers, Carlos Avid. He's going to be here to close us out. And trust me, we're going to talk about wrestling. We're going to talk about local sports here with Baltimore. It's going to be a very great conversation. Great way to close out.
Yes, and you work with his lovely wife in the morning. How can people catch you in the morning?
Yes. You can catch me and Carlos's lovely wife, my sister, Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on WEAA. And also, Carlos is also the hype man because I do the Flex Zone Sports Report. Today we talked about the HBCU Classic. We talked about Brian Flores. So it was a very good conversation. And again, I was there in the house, and I was in the land this past week.
We gotta get your recap on that, Dre. But we appreciate it. Executive producer Andre Melton, senior producer Crevonte Hurd, Raj on social media. Let the people know how to keep up with us on social media and what they need to do before they leave this video.
Please, everybody, subscribe to the Flex Zone podcast on YouTube. A lot of great content. Great show today. Sean Yoes came on. It was awesome. Can't wait for Carlos to come on next week. I'm pretty sure we're going to chop it up with those Ravens and God damn it, that wrestling. And yes, it's going to be very goofy, Crevonte and Byron. Yes, very, very, very goofy. But please, subscribe to the Flex Zone podcast. The channel's growing. You know, it's getting a whole lot better. You know, it's only the only place we're going is up.
Because we the ones.
Because we the ones. Exactly. So there you go. Boom. And if you're on Facebook, the Flex Zone on Facebook. If you're on Instagram, the Flex Zone. And if you're on Twitter, the Flex Zone. Everything's the Flex Zone. But on YouTube, the Flex Zone podcast. So subscribe.
And if you want to donate, hashtag the Flex Zone 1. Again, the only place giving you sports, fellas, how you want it.
When you need it.
Definitely more content coming soon. Subscribe to the YouTube page. theflexon1@gmail.com. Guest ideas want to be part of the show. Episode 332 be coming to you this coming Monday, a week from today at about 10:30. Tap in with us. You'll see us go live. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Like this video. And anything else, fellas, before we get out of here?
No, I think that's it.
Big shout out to Tiffany as always. We appreciate it. Shout out to the home team. Shout out to the Flex Zone family. Everybody tapping in. Mark, Sam, Tiffany, of course. Of course, big shout out again to our guest Sean Yoes, Miss Queen checked in. Engraven checked in.
Engraven.
Sam, Appreciate you, brother. I want to just make sure I get everybody. We appreciate you guys for tapping. Nick, appreciate it. Friend of the show. We definitely got you, brother. Love you guys. Appreciate the Flex Zone family. Until next week for episode 332. For Dre, Crevonte, and Raj, we gone, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Hey.
Enjoy y'all rest of y'all night. We out.